All right, guys. Hey, tonight we got mixing it up a little bit. We're gonna let Coach Jasinski here take the reins. He's gonna take the lead, give you guys a little different perspective. I know I've done one of these, and Coach Pfister's done one. This is Jack's turn to kind of kick it off, and obviously we had Deemer on, last week as well. So I'd like to give you guys lots of different perspectives here, and I'm gonna switch it over here and let Jack kick things off. So let me fire this up for you, buddy.
Awesome. All right. So guys, first clip that we're gonna watch is semifinal game between Yale and Penn State. Both these teams were, if you guys have ever watched them play in the past couple of years, they're really good passing offenses. They tend to share the ball a lot, whether it be with one guy, whether it be with multiple guys. But the overall theme of today is going to be about team offense. And so I thought this clip showed a really good job about team offense. So we'll let it run through real quick. It's a bit of a longer clip, but I just want you guys to pay attention to how fast they're playing, one, and two, how many okay shots they give up to get a better shot. So as you can see, they're kind of subbing right now, okay? So this guy, number 3 right here, okay, he's actually a midfielder, and he's going behind the cage. So that's another thing to pay attention to, how many different spots in the field they can play. So now they're starting, okay? Moving it, banging the ball around. Camera can almost even keep up, right? We get a shot off the end line, okay? All right, but that's about a 6-yard shot on the run, right? And all just from ball movement in the first 20 seconds of an offense. Get the ball back. Okay, now they're going from X. Same thing. Start off with a pick, kind of a dodge. You get hung up, bang it around again. 1, 2. Dodging again. They keep going. They keep playing, right? Even with the shot clock, they're not even worried about the shot clock. Keep playing. Notice again, I said number 3, he's a midfielder. He's behind the cage, right? Goes inside, gets a guy in the middle for a 2-yard shot from middle of the cage. So main point I wanted to say from that is they probably got the ball around, the entire team touched it. Everybody touched it probably 2-3 times in that segment right there. And then the second thing I would say that I thought was really nice was that all these guys, you noticed they kind of switched positions as the whole possession went on. And so a lot of you guys at your younger ages and stuff, you're like, I'm an attackman, I'm a midfielder, I'm this, I'm that, right? You guys need to just practice, being good at offense, being a good offensive player and being comfortable playing all over the field. And then lastly, I'd say just notice how fast they played. I mean, yes, they're very, very skilled, right? But in general, right, they're working hard for each other, okay? They're moving hard off ball. They're moving the ball quickly. And because of that, they're making a mess for the defense in order to try and defend them. Tyler, Coach, you got anything?
The feed is actually a little bit laggy on my end, so it was kind of hard for me to see. But I mean, one thing, just thinking about team offense and these guys sharing the ball, we kind of talked about it a little bit last week, is just fundamentals, right? There's really, nothing too fancy about what these guys are doing. They're just doing simple things very, very well. And we harp on this a lot, right? That stuff doesn't just come to you, right? You're not just an elite player with great fundamentals. That's getting on the wall. That's passing with actual people, putting it right on their head every single time. And it's just those repetitions over and over and over. It's the little things that you do on your time off and, maybe outside of practice that make things on the field that much easier.
Awesome.
I think just one quick thing to add, guys. They do a great job. You notice, Coach Jasinski harped on, guys getting not out of position, but kind of just flowing into the offense. And it doesn't really matter if you're an attackman or a midi. And, right here, you see they do a great job of just picking and moving and then repicking and forcing the defense to talk. And if you notice, sometimes they get jammed up as this kind of goes. And, you realize like when a guy goes to set a pick and maybe it's not there, they work really hard to get out of the way. So, they look maybe for that initial look, maybe to cut through, it's not there. Then they set the pick's not there, boom, float to space, get out of the guy's way. And there's a really good example of that right here, where he's calling for the pick off the end line. Boom, they don't necessarily get the matchup. Keeping their feet moving. Right, no one's standing around watching. Right here, we go for another. I think he goes for another pick, right? But it doesn't work out. Nothing's there. Bang! He just gets out of the way. Goes for a little repick. Nothing's there. Get out of the way, right? And then he makes himself an outlet, which ultimately leads to the goal here by creating this mismatch right here, by getting a short stick on short stick, and all that came from just picking and moving, keeping it simple, and good things happen there. So it was a really good clip, Coach Jasinski.
Awesome. Yeah, like Coach Bice was saying, I mean, the next thing kind of we're going to talk about, and sorry, my bad. It says Bice on there. Coach Kelly. I was just reading it. Coach Kelly was talking about was like picking it within the offense too. Not every single pick has to be let the whole offense or defense know that you're going to set a pick, right? If you're in someone's way, we talk about it all the time. You can pick, you can get out of the way, you can fade, you can shallow cut. There's a multitude of things you can do. And, that's kind of up to y'all, being creative within an offense and picking as you're going through within your offense. Just picking your spots. Okay, so in this next clip, got Cornell. If you guys have watched Cornell, they've kind of really switched how they play in the past couple of years to more of like a box kind of like hybrid style offense that is a lot of passing. So here is where it was what I was leading into is they do a lot of picking on the wings for Jeff Teat, who is one of the best players in the country right now. And so he works really hard to set a pick. After he goes off a pick, throws it back, it says, I'm going to set a pick for my teammate now. He gets a shot, right? But that's just one way to work with picks within an offense. Even if you're a guy like Jeff Teat, right, you can still set picks and try and get a mismatch. Right there, boom, open. That's a great look right there, okay? They don't get the goal, right? But then, look, they go right back into it. Look at the pace. He's running to get that ball, right? Okay? Comes in, all right? And he's just going to fire off the end line too, okay? He's pushing the offense as they go, right? Okay, so right here, this is great, all right? So pause.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're good. So they end up scoring off that play right there at the end. But right here, yeah, this is a great look right here. So you guys saw how he turned his head and he had that double team right on his back right there. So what Coach Pfister was talking about earlier about how it's not anything crazy that they're doing here, but he was getting absolutely mauled by two defenders, right? Because he got to a dangerous spot on the field, right? Now, he doesn't get any of the glory of any of that, okay? But he drew the double team, all right? And then he had to be able to give that ball up to who needed it, right? And so talk about spacing, you talk about good passing, right? And you talk about getting it out of your stick quickly, which is all things that, Coach Kelly, Coach Bice, Coach Pfister, they all talk about every single time, whether it's box, whether it's field, right? Okay? It's important to be good at the fundamentals. So right here, look, he gets clamped right there. He's falling down, still is able to make the pass. They get to the backside as quick as possible, and your boy 44 right there ends up with a 10-yard step down, which is what everybody practices in the backyard. So I think, again, don't necessarily have to throw that home run pass every single time when you talk about, playing team offense or reading a defense or, making the right play. Sometimes it's just as simple as, I got to a dangerous spot. He was only about 5 yards away from the cage, and then he's in a dangerous spot. So they slid to him, and he gave the ball up, and they ended up scoring from it. So
one thing I want to add here, so you guys see at the start of this, number 44 is coming to set this pick right here. So any of you guys that play box for us, or if you guys play field for me, I'm constantly yelling at you, right? You set a pick, you got to move. You got to get off it if it's not there. So interestingly enough, he's a little slow here, right? So he sets his pick, right? This is where, we want you to pop off this and move to space. So he does a little job, right? He kind of waits, he kind of hesitates, and maybe he's just reading the play. But watch what happens. When he figures out he needs to get on his horse when his guy starts creeping here, he shifts all the way across the field over here, and ultimately he's going to be the guy that ends up scoring the goal. And this is what happens when you move after you set a pick, right? So watch. He floats, he floats, he floats. Nothing's there. Keeps moving. Keep your eyes on 44 here. Keeps moving, right? Right now he's kind of in a dead zone. Nothing's really happening. But as this ball transfers, he realizes that he's got to be this pop guy. So as the ball transfers, boom, right there. You see him shuffling his feet, right? He realizes, wow, I'm open. Step into that gap, and good things happen. But it all comes from starting all the way down here when he sets that pick. And like I said, you guys need to pop off that quickly, but he eventually recognizes that, gets to space, gets himself to a great area for that goal. So, just reiterating, constantly moving, get into those openings.
I would say too, look at everybody else off ball during that. If you go back and watch at it, how fast everybody else is moving too. It's not just the guy setting a pick, right? When a pick comes too, you got to be ready off ball. The play is not necessarily even the pick. Sometimes it's off ball. So just make sure you don't get absorbed with watching the play that your team is running. Make sure that you're actually participating in the play and not just being a bystander.
Jamming up a little bit. Is that running for you guys? Can you see that?
It's still a little choppy on my end, but
is it choppy?
My Wi-Fi.
So again, watch all the movement here, like Coach is talking about, right? You got 4 guys moving off ball, guy replacing, guy cutting through, and a guy fading out the back all at the same time. So really good offense there by the Cornell boys. All right. Wrong one there. Alt reveal.
Jack, I think you're on mute.
My bad. Sorry. So again, it's a bit of a shorter clip. But what the point of it is that I wanted you guys to see how both these other 2 guys that are not Miles Jones. Okay, so I think this is for Carl, and the next guy is Miles Thompson. Okay, they're anticipating what's happening, right? So Miles Jones really doesn't do much. He's big. He's a threat from anywhere in the center of the field, right? And he just makes his guy miss and steps into a gap, okay? All right? And he draws a slide adjacent, right? They're not even in full offense yet. This is just in transition, basically. They're subbing, okay? So, again, this is at the highest level when you talk about lacrosse, right, and team offense. It doesn't always have to be, like you're saying, a long possession, right? But Miles probably could have passed that ball to the other Miles sitting on the pipe right there. But instead, he made the simple pass, okay? Gave it to his boy one more, right? Let him make another pass, okay? And it looks really quick, but that's really all team offense is being unselfish, okay? And to a point to where you get into a dangerous area, right? And then the second part of it would be, anticipating it, right? So look how quickly for Carl or whoever this player is that gets it from Jones, okay, look how quickly he gets it out of his stick. Look, that guy is screaming up at him. He doesn't even look at the cage. He knows that Miles is open down low, okay, and he just sends it. So the point there would be, you gotta be anticipating, a rotation on a defense, and that's part of reading a defense, okay, is moving around the outside. Or if you know that they're slowly rotating, that would be a time, that you could look through the defense, okay? So again, this guy does a really good job of, he knows that they're flying up to him, right? So it's a really simple decision for him. He doesn't have to feed it through, right? He just throws it to the next guy down the line, gives him a one more, okay? And look, he's at 2 yards away from the cage, and Miles Thompson's going to bury that pretty much every single time. So I know it's not a very complicated clip, but you see that a lot, again, at higher levels of guys, even just in transition, just being unselfish in that way and anticipating what a defense is doing, whether they're rotating with, the whole defense or they're coming out from the middle. Just understanding what a defense is doing is really important in order to, play well with your other teammates.
You got anything you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I'll just say one thing, not to, beat a dead horse or anything like that, but you guys saw for Caro, the catch and pass. He's probably made that pass hundreds, if not thousands of times. And the higher, you go up in levels of lacrosse, the greater importance it is to do, less with your stick, right? That play doesn't work if he catches the ball, cradles it twice, and then tries to throw it, right? He's going to get his hands chopped off doing that, right? So it's the anticipation and knowing in his mind, it's almost muscle memory at that point, right? He's done it so many times that he catches it, boom, it's out. And that comes over time, right? Doing it over and over and over again. And again, we're back here in the same situation with where we are in the quarantine and things like that. There's things that, might become, monotonous and you're doing it over and over again. But are things that, will pay off if you're practicing things the right way. So I think there's a lot of encouragement there, to keep after it. And, like we always say, if you guys have questions about anything that we talk about or any workout plans that we're putting out and things like that, please feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to answer and put together things for you guys if need be. So continue to use us as a resource there as well.
Great. Any guys, anybody got any questions or anything they want to throw up in the chat?
See if any pop up.
Love to see you guys have been quiet out there in the world. Love to see some clips of you guys tagging us in your tag us in your stories. If you guys are out hitting the wall, hitting some shots, making yourself better, whatever you guys are doing out there. Love to see you guys tag Resolute in it, and we'll repost it. But seems like you guys are quiet. We're not hearing from you. We don't know what you're doing, right? So we'll take it as no news is good news, but hopefully you guys are out there taking this as an opportunity to really make yourself better, right? Unfortunately, without the spring season, it's really falling on you guys to look in the mirror a little bit and take that initiative to get out and make yourself better. So like Coach said, I'm always here for you as well. Feel free to reach out. And for you high school guys, tomorrow night we got a really great recruiting talk for you. Been working really hard on putting together a PowerPoint for you guys and your parents. Would love to have both you and your parents on that call tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. And until then, we will talk to you guys soon.